This is the Limestone Lowdown. Hear the sound when you lie to the issues all around. From every corner, let's make it clear. The change we need is starting here.
Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Limestone Lowdown. I'm missing my co-host here, Jared, but I do have a special guest, and she is not foreign to y'all, Miss Kellie Dye. She has been MIA from Athens for the last few months, traveling, visiting family, seeing beautiful parts of the United States, and so welcome home.
Thank you. Several, almost 2,000 miles worth of our beautiful country.
Yeah, and a good thing for technology because we were still able to talk nearly every day, it felt like.
Absolutely.
We were still able to talk
a
lot and keeping you up to speed about what's going on. You were keeping me up to speed on things that you were going on or lack thereof
going
we'll
get
on.
Into that.
Yeah, and so that was kind of what we are wanting to talk about. You know, we've, Jared and I have been fighting things within the city, and it's kind of in parallel, but we see similarities with what goes on with the county and with the city, and then my little bit of interaction with the county as well. You know, I had sent an email, like I've been to 2 county commission meetings, and the second one was about the education tax credit back over the summer, and I really didn't have an opinion one way or the other because I hadn't done my research on it. The way that all of that transpired was, hey, like, why don't we just table it? Again, I don't have a dog in that fight, but, and then there was some heated discussion about, like, the budget, that it was very contradictory. And I had sent an email that day, like, following up, and I literally got one response from one commissioner and have not heard anything else. I emailed the chairman, and it took over a week. I emailed him and his secretary, a response from neither, and finally did a follow-up, and he did meet with me, but he did brought the county attorney in. So I'm sure it's because we have a reputation of people thinking that we twist words. I mean, I welcome anybody to record it, whatever you want to do. We're just simply asking questions and for transparency, you know? And I think that's something that you can definitely relate to is when you're not asking the easy questions, or you're not asking questions that they don't know how to answer, right? I mean, that's kind of been...
Well, some of the questions I'm asking for aren't even for an answer. I just want updates.
Mm-hmm.
And that transparency, that's one of those keywords that we keep using over and over again, but I don't feel that people realize that.
Yeah, you don't want it to become watered down, because we say it so much, but the depths of what that word truly means, and on all fronts at a local level, county and city, that lack of transparency. I mean, I almost feel like they're doubling down, like they frame you to be a certain way. And I don't mean you as in personally, it's anybody that questions, or it's like, oh, well, for you, for example, oh, you haven't been here very long. You know, how dare you ask questions? You don't have a clue how we do local government. Well, it shouldn't be specialized to just local, right?
Well, here's the thing with that too. To me, if I don't know what I'm talking about, please help educate and inform me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just ignore me.
Right.
And unfortunately, I don't feel that is the approach that the current seats have chosen to take.
Absolutely. And that was one of the comments that was made at the meeting that I went to. She said, talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Explain to me this to me like I don't know anything. This isn't my job. And when we met with the chairman, that's what we said. And when we were asking about the dump trucks, we're like, explain this to me. Like, this is, and we had to pay for the public records, right? Like, we asked for information, we paid for it. It's not hidden. I mean, they've literally pulled it from agendas where they passed it over the years, but nonetheless, they had to go pull it for us. We had to pay for it. But it was, to me, simple math. Like, this is what we sold them for. This is what we bought them for. This is what we sold them for. I can do math on how to figure up what we pay in interest. The math is not mathing. We're in a process of losing money. And I told the chairman that. I was like, if I'm not seeing this correctly, because I can do basic math, please tell me. And he's like, no, you're he admitted that they were seeing it, that it was a loss, that at one point that they were making money, which I get it, because we all remember the car lots and how you couldn't go buy a car, right? You had, when it would take like 8 or 9 months when you're ordering a car. And so they're like, oh, we have these dump trucks we can just go buy, and they're the same year and they've got 5,000 miles on them. Like, yeah, we'll pay good money. In those couple years, they did make money. But now that the car industry is somewhat caught up, now we're back to a place where it appears we're losing money. And I did get a little bit of the warm and fuzzies from the chairman to say that I don't think that we're not gonna go through that auction program again. But I mean, it's just like,
well, the interesting thing and the crazy thing, and the thing that I'm thankful for, is that it took a citizen to bring this to their attention.
Yeah,
that is why we need to do this as a community. Mm-hmm. We have to hold these seats accountable for that transparency.
And you're not doing it, like, you don't do these things to make them look bad. You're literally just saying, hey, I see this problem. And instead of like treating us as the bad guy, oh man, we hadn't even thought about that or seen that. Thank you. We're not even looking for like accolades. Like, it's just, hey, but for merely asking questions or for an update, you're almost like have been chastised, for lack of better terms, I guess. So let you kind of go into that lack of transparency that we've kind of talked about over the last year and the struggle that you're still fighting.
Thank you. So yeah, this actually started, we're going on a year now. Mm-hmm. So last October, I approached the county commission to kind of educate myself a little bit more, to get a little bit more knowledge on everything that is going on in our community, based on where we live and a lot of the happenings that had occurred around that time. I went to the commission and suggested to them at that point that they might want to consider looking at implementing ordinances. Mm-hmm. Now, ordinances is a scary word. I get it. Mm-hmm. As citizens, as leadership, as a county, as a city, as a state, there's a lot of government oversight that can be looked at as scary. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, there's a lot of corporations that can also be scary.
Right.
And they will use and abuse every last inch of anything that they're given access
Absolutely.
to. And when you're in a county that has no ordinances in place to set any type of protection to anyone, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We've seen it in our county right now. And there's been several, just the direct communities that I can imagine, that I have seen it happen is in South Athens, in Tanner, and in Belmina. And it's been significant, and it's been very, I'm going to use the word dangerous to the community as well, to both health of both body and home. And so when I approached them, I was very naive and optimistic in my approach, saying, hey, let's look at this and consider this going forward.
Absolutely.
So again, this was last October. I was met with, I don't want to use the word criticism, but that's kind of what it felt like. I was approached and basically told that ordinances are not something that can be implemented at a local level, which
it's almost like when they say that blanket statement, that's the end. They expect that to be, we can't do that, and you nod your head and say, well, dang, okay, thank you. And
I think that's maybe what they were hoping for.
Most people may probably do that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't, and I actually started reaching out to I reached out to state level, I reached out to federal level, I reached out to other local levels, cities, counties, everywhere. I was, on a mission to find more information, to educate myself, to better learn about how the process of everything occurs in Alabama. And I actually had a state leader share with me some information, and I'll read this via the Alabama code. But this is one of the things that I was not able to find this on a simple Google search by myself. There were several items, but this is one that I was not able to find, but thankfully this state representative shared it with me.
And we will share this for those listeners. we will share this on our Facebook page. Like, we'll take a snippet and actually share it, because this is something that is applicable to our Limestone County representative, our commissioners, on what the law says that they can do.
And yeah, this is specific
to Limestone County. I just to give everyone a little bit of a caveat, we had the pastor at the Methodist Church, Pastor Cody Gilliam, who he mentions the Alabama code. This is the specific code that he references in where they do have the power to do that.
Yes, and this is, I will again read this verbatim as what I was copied from the Alabama list of codes. And this is Alabama Code 45-42-260. Says the Limestone County Commission may divide any territory at its discretion within the county, but outside of the corporate limits of any municipality in the county into business, industrial, and residential zones or districts, including, but not limited to, zones or districts where blasting may be carried out, and the terms and conditions under which blasting may be carried out, and may provide the kind, character, and use of structures and improvements that may be erected or made within the several zones or districts established, and, from time to time, may rearrange or alter the boundaries of the zones or districts, and may also adopt ordinances as necessary to carry into effect and make effective this section, provided, however, agricultural and forest property assessed for ad valorem tax purposes at current use value as defined in section 40725.1 shall be zoned as agricultural and forest property. That was part A of this code. I forgot to mention that. My apologies. Part B states any zoning ordinance adopted pursuant to this section may be enforced by the county commission by an action for injunctive relief in the circuit court of Limestone County. So that was pretty clear to me that the county has full legal ability to put protections in place on properties that may cause significant disruption to surrounding cities, to surrounding homes, to surrounding lives. And so I shared that with the commission. I did not get really any response.
And you weren't even trying to be like snarky. It was just like, hey, we had a state representative that provided this to me, that we do have the ability to do this. So not sure if you're aware of this, but here you go. Like, it was just food for thought. Hey, and
yes,
it was, and again, you go into it with an open mind, like, oh man, maybe they just didn't know. Like, I'm here to help. Like, I want to do more. You know, I know within this city, and we've talked about this ad nauseum because it continues to happen. You go and ask questions, and it was like me, like I was so nervous going to that first one, like having to get up and speak, because they're the way that they're almost sitting up there at the desk, like it's very intimidating, right?
Oh,
you're nervous, like you have a prepared statement, like you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't, what's going to happen? Like I don't want to, stumble over my words. And of course now, like I'd get up and talk to anybody, but I see these people that come in with such hope, speaking against an agenda item, speaking against certain zoning restrictions, specifically about the neighborhoods, because you see that this is constant. And then now going back and looking at the planning commission, that, oh, by the way, city council picks the planning commission. These neighborhoods are designed before they even get to city council. And we've known it, like these are just a rubber stamp, but you see these people that come in dressed up and they've got such hope, and then they're just quickly shot down, Yeah,
well, and that's a great segue into my next comment on this. So again, I started communication with everyone in October. I have had very minimal response coming back into it. So in May of this past year, I went in and I was asking questions at the county commission, and I stood there.
Was that when you first started going to county commission meetings?
No, I started in October.
Oh, okay. October 2024. Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
I have been consistently going since then. But by May of 2024, I had gone in and May of 2025. My dates are getting a little bit mixed up here. So May of 2025, I had gone in and I was asking some questions. I have not been very successful at this point of getting a response from emails. I really prefer email just because it helps
traceability.
Yes, exactly. And so I do not, and I've got kids at home and I've got animals that I'm around and we've got.
Well, 9 o'clock is not the primo.
It's not. A lot of people aren't able to get to these 9 o'clock meetings, but also a phone conversation is not really feasible at this point in my life. So I prefer the email.
Well, you get back to them when you get time.
Exactly.
And you're not even saying, take 48 hours to respond to me. It's just just get back with me.
At some point.
But
that continued to not happen. So in May, I went in and I asked a question and I stood there and waited for an answer. And I was told at that time by the attorney, not by any of the commissioners, that was not the appropriate venue to ask them. So I asked, where am I supposed to do this?
Yeah.
And they say, well, this isn't really a place to discuss this, but you can ask them in person or you can ask them an email. And I said, I have. And I'm not getting a response.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I went home. I drafted yet another email. And so I actually went through and looked at the dates again to give you guys specifics on this. So on May 13th, you'll have to forgive me, I did not look at the dates, but it was within the week, of this last meeting that I was told to email.
Okay.
So May 13th, I drafted an email and I said, this is my email asking for clarification on how I'm supposed to get a response. And I was sent this to all 5 of our seats as well as the county attorney. And I got a response only from the attorney and that was asked for some more clarification. I had asked about some signature authority and he wasn't familiar with what that was. And so I clarified that again.
Our county attorney doesn't know what signature authority means. Sorry, that just
maybe I didn't explain it very well, but I don't really feel that was the case. So I re-explained it and hoping that it would be able to better explain it.
Oh, goodness,
again.
In my line, that just caught me because in my line of work, I've been hearing signature authority since 2008 and I was 21. So
yeah, well, I didn't understand that response either, but that's,
okay.
Fair
to
question.
each their own,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I was more than happy to explain what that is. So I sent that clarification email on June 17th. So at this point, we've transpired a little over a month between that initial communication. And again, not once has an actual
commissioner gotten back
with me. So then, again, at that point, on June 26th, I received a response from the attorney. And let me go back to that June 17th email. I said in that email, and I have never hidden anything that I have said from anyone, but I said, you guys make it so that you present in a way that you don't appear to want the community and the citizens to ask questions.
And then you're criticized for asking questions and going, if you were to go public, if you were to do a podcast, if you were to reach out to a news source to do an article, if you were to ask a question at a commission meeting, it's almost like, how dare you ask a question instead of being like, hey, we hear you. Why don't we show, because it's why don't we acknowledge how intimidating this is to come forth and ask these people something? It's almost like, hey, we don't want you to be nervous. I just know how hard it was for me. And then now over the last year, and you can relate to that, seeing people get up and speak. You're like, man, I commend you for getting up and talking. They ain't going to do nothing. It's
and that's
very disheartening.
Frustration. But this was an interesting part. This was not the full response, but the part that stuck out to me. And I would like to share this with y'all as well. And so it says, and again, this is a response from the attorney and not the commission chairs. It says, I must respectfully disagree with your assertions that the commissioners discourage citizens from asking questions or fail to respond to questions presented to them. I am not aware of any commissioner refusing to discuss an issue with a citizen who shows up at a regular meeting or any other location and wants to talk individually to a commissioner. Notwithstanding that kind of discussion, there have been instances where citizens were not happy with the answers that they received to their questions. Based on my own observations, I suppose that not receiving the answer that one wants to receive may be for that person tantamount to not receiving an answer at all. The reality of the difficult job the commissioners have to do is that law and other duties of the commissioners will sometimes constrain the actions of the commission. The commissioners' powers are not plenary and are limited by what is authorized by the Alabama statutes or the Constitution. From what I have observed, it may be tempting to some to view the actions of the commission in the light of a conspiracy or an uncaring attitude when outcomes do not match the desires of the disappointed citizens. Yes. In my experience, neither is the case, and in fact, the commissioners are disappointed but realistic when they sometimes cannot assist concerned citizens. Nevertheless, there are often other avenues that those citizens can explore as remedies to their concerns.
So that was like a whole bunch of crap to say. I mean, I feel like he probably got Shane Black to help him write that up, because I feel like that was like a whole bunch of words to basically say, if you don't like what we're saying, then that's on you. But the thing is like they literally haven't answered your questions. Like that's the thing.
And that was my whole point. That as I read that, he didn't answer any of the questions that I initially presented.
It's almost like you want to go reply all and then literally put, here are my specific questions that in the email traffic that you literally did not answer.
Well, let me carry on further with this. So, again, the previous dates, May 13th, May 27th, June 17th, June 26th.
Mm-hmm.
In August 7th, I drafted a completely new email simply asking for updates. I didn't even want a final resolution.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that there had been discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Zero response. I waited a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate time is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Please do not get me wrong. I am a busy mom. You're a busy mom.
Right.
We work. We run households.
Mm-hmm.
We support church. We support community.
Right.
These are people as well that are running the commission. I get this.
Mm-hmm.
So again, August 26th, I send a second request for updates from the commission. Now, I will tell you what I asked for updates on, because everyone's going to say, oh, well, you're just, worried about what you want and what you have your agenda, which is true. But in this second follow-up, I asked for one, if there had been any discussion at all about the zoning ordinances that I had presented in October, not for them to pass a bill, but to simply start the drafting of something they could present to the community to vote on.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not asking for a final resolution, just to know. I just asked if there was even discussion. Mm-hmm. I asked about an update on the discussion of the Veterans Affairs Office. Mm-hmm. We had shared some of the images. We had shared some of the disgusting, what's the characteristics? I can't think of the right word.
And so that is still a touchy subject for me, because again, I'm just gonna, because I don't think that I've updated Kellie on this, but I just want to do a side note that we have not talked to the people at the Veterans Affairs Office since. So please don't go over there and chastise them that we mentioned that office, because I don't know if I told you, but that guy, and we did a shout out. We were like, hey, thanks to the commission for helping them. And the guy, they showed up over there, how dare you talk to somebody on a podcast? So it's almost like they made him feel bad. And he didn't even reach out to us. Someone went through him. It was through someone. And so it's we weren't there to make them look bad. And so it's please, as a side note, Kellie mentioned that because that was what was in her email, but please don't go reach out to that guy.
Yeah, no, please don't say anything. And
he has no.
I'm just sharing with you what I'm asking for updates.
Yes.
Again, no resolution, just updates.
Yes.
I also asked about updates on improvement options for our Limestone DMV. Because we all know that there are issues with that. And these are all things that have been presented to the commission by other citizens. This is not just me. These are not just issues that I'm concerned about.
These are issues that have been brought up at other county commission meetings.
Exactly. And so to this date, so we're almost 9-10 weeks past that email, I still have received no response.
Wow.
And so at this point, I don't know. I feel like excuse me, I feel like there is a push, especially as things have been coming to light, to have more transparency. And I feel that there are commissioners that are trying to say that they are wanting to be more transparent. But when we have situations like this where we have emails that have gone unanswered for, at this point, months, I don't see that transparency.
Right. And let's just to kind of in closing these last few minutes, when we talk about lack of transparency or lack of communication, we're not saying that those people aren't nice or that they're not like good Christian people, right? Because that's where people are like, oh, how dare you talk about so-and-so, they're so nice. I'm not saying they're not nice. I'm saying they didn't respond to my emails. Like, there's a difference.
Exactly. And actually, I have had great conversations
on a
personal level with
all of them. That's what I was going to say. I think that, I think Colin Daly is a super nice man. He always speaks to me. He always gives me a hug. LaDawn always speaks to me. Derek Gatlin always. They're all so friendly. Johnny Turner always speaks. Mr. Sandman, I don't even know that I've ever seen him out. I've seen him out a couple of times, but he doesn't know who I am. But the rest of them, like, they know me by name, so it's not.
And then when they do see us in public, they
always
us. They say hi.
Exactly.
They're so kind. But I'm not getting answers.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting follow up.
Yeah, and it's like they claim to be, if you'll just reach out, like, I'll meet with you. Well, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, and part of my frustration with this too is not everyone has the ability to get there in person.
Yeah.
So
just respond to the email.
Yes. If you want to say you want to talk to me and you want to call me and you want to, you want to have these conversations, that's not always an option for everyone. We need to have all avenues be respected.
Well, and at this point, you're just asking for a response to an email. Like, you're not asking them to go, like, change the world. You're just asking to help change your world. And at the end of the day, they are in public service and they are elected by their constituents because everybody comes with their own agenda. You just made a good point that you brought other topics that the entire community has had big questions about. But, at the end of the day, what drives us is our personal gain. Like, what are we personally affected by? And then when you start seeing, well, they don't care about me, then it starts getting bigger and you're like, they don't care about my neighbor either.
Yeah. And
then you see the people that they do care about or the things that does make priority, like what briefs well, what photographs well, right? Yeah. And again, it's not to say that these people aren't nice, because I think that that's where the negativity in the community, it's like, oh, you're just wanting to like talk bad about these people. No, we're just trying to say that there is a, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a systematic problem with communication.
Well, and when you offer an amicable opportunity, time after time, after time, continued however long it needs to be. Mm-hmm. I'm not out here to get you. I want to see improvement for everyone.
Everyone.
This isn't just, you said we have our own personal agendas, but when I approach these, I genuinely want the betterment for the community as a whole.
Absolutely.
And if you can't answer to me, who are you going to answer to?
Right, because that's how we started our stuff with the city. It was a community problem. It really wasn't like a Jared and Amanda problem. We noticed the problem, but it was a community problem. And there was like, oh, there's nothing over here. And so that's what caused us to start asking questions. We started putting the pieces together and it started making sense. But it's like, your people have addressed this. Like, they've asked questions. And just because you choose not to respond and people to continue to ask questions, we're not the bad guys. We just haven't gotten answers. And that's where it goes back to, is just that even like a lack of accountability. It's almost like they've never been held accountable. So it's like this is a new territory for them too. And it's not like lack of accountability is like a negative sense. It's just that people are busy. Like, I don't have time to deal with that,
Yeah.
And you and I and others have had to really sacrifice to make that time to send those emails, to go to the meetings. And because, for the ones that aren't able to go, sometimes like our little bit of voice might be what keeps them going.
Yep.
Right? You've been a big part in helping me to stay positive and to keep going. And it's hard. You said it perfectly earlier. Like, this isn't something that, don't get burnt out, because it's not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be anything quick.
And I think if we can learn to keep our pride in check,
Mm-hmm.
and really accept the fact that we want this to be beneficial to not just us but the community.
Right.
And we're asking you as the leaders that we have elected in. We put our faith and our trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
Please be willing to work with us,
Mm-hmm.
not feel attacked, and realize that we really are doing this to try to help improve life
Mm-hmm.
for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that we might be able to find a better path going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But that will require responses.
It's going to be responses, building those walls down, and building them up, because it's building that relationship with your people. And again, like, we are the fastest growing county in the state. We have a lot of growth coming.
We've had a lot of growth.
Yeah, and we've got even more.
We've got a lot of catching up to
Mm-hmm.
do. And if we don't start now, we will just continue to fall further and
Mm-hmm.
further behind.
Mm-hmm.
We see this, we hear it, we feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take the steps now.
And the community is talking about this.
Oh, yes.
They're just not on a podcast or
Yeah.
being as vocal. But this is a common occurrence in conversations with people in the community.
Absolutely.
This is, I will commend Commissioner Turner. He has been vocal about like what people want, like for his district, the differences that he can make, like in his area, and hopefully that is potentially an opening a door for how communicative that the others, maybe it will start seeing some more of that. But I appreciate having you on, and it's so good for you to be back in Athens.
Yes, to be back in person.
In Limestone County here. So thanks so much for coming on today.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, thanks for listening.